All right, let's dive right into a really dramatic story. We're talking about a thrilling rescue, a massive revelation, and it all gets kicked off by a single, absolutely terrifying moment that uncovers a secret that's been buried for 20 years. So here's the central question, right? How can something as chaotic and tragic as a fire suddenly peel back the layers on a secret that connects three completely different people? A strange, reclusive heiress, a hardened criminal, and the young woman who's caught in the middle of it all. It sounds wild, but that's exactly what happens. Okay, so let's set the scene. It's getting dark, it's twilight. Our guy, Pip, is leaving Miss Havisham's house, that creepy, decaying place. He's got this weird feeling, this sense of dread, almost like he knows he's never going to be back. And just on a whim, he decides to turn around for one last look. And boom! That's when his whole world just flips upside down. He sees this huge flash of light, and there's Miss Havisham, who was just sitting there quietly a second ago. Now she's completely engulfed in flames, and she's running at him, screaming. I mean, can you even imagine? It's a pure nightmare image. The way it's written in the original text just captures that total chaos. This isn't just some unfortunate accident. No, this is the violent spark that lights the fuse for everything that's about to be revealed. That phrase, a whirl of fire blazing about her, that's the moment that kicks off a chain reaction nobody could have seen coming. So what does Pip do? He doesn't even think. It's just pure instinct. He grabs his greatcoat, throws it on her, grabs another thick coat, throws that on her, and they both go down, wrestling on the floor. He even says they were struggling like desperate enemies. He's literally fighting the fire, trying to smother it, holding on until help finally gets there. It's just a totally frantic and brutal rescue.
So, the immediate danger is over. The fire's out, Miss Havisham is being tended to, and as that rush of adrenaline starts to wear off, Pip suddenly realizes something pretty astonishing about himself.
He looks down at his hands and sees that they're both badly burned. But here's the crazy part. He felt nothing. Absolutely nothing. He was in such a deep state of shock that his body just shut off the pain signals. That just goes to show you the level of trauma we're talking about here. And yeah, you can see the physical toll it took. Pip makes it home, his hands and arms are all bandaged up, basically useless. His good friend Herbert is there to take care of him. But it's right here, in this quiet moment while he's recovering, that the story takes another huge, unexpected twist. So, as Herbert is gently tending to Pip's burns, he starts telling him about a conversation he just had. A conversation with Provis, the convict Pip has been hiding this whole time. And it turns out, Provis decided to open up about something from way back in his past, a really dark story about a jealous woman he once knew. And Herbert just drops this absolute bombshell. He says this woman, she wasn't just jealous, she was, and I quote, revengeful to the last degree. And when asked what that last degree was, the answer was murder. It's so intense that Herbert actually has to pause the story and ask Pip if his burns are hurting him. And we're not talking about a quiet crime either. The murder itself was vicious. The victim was throttled, which means choked to death. It's a really important detail because it tells you just how ruthless and violent this woman from Provis's story really was. So, as Herbert keeps talking, a few key pieces of information come out. Think of them like clues. First, this woman's lawyer during her murder trial was none other than Mr. Jaggers. Second, she and Provis had a child together. Third, and this is chilling, right after she got acquitted, she told Provis she would destroy their child. And then fourth, she disappeared and took the baby with her. Now imagine you're Pip. You're lying there, in pain, probably a little feverish from the burns, and you're hearing this dark, 20-year-old story, and suddenly, the gears in your head start turning. You start connecting the dots to things in your own life, and all at once, it starts to make a terrifying kind of sense. Let's look at how the pieces align. Herbert says the trial was about 20 years ago, around score of years. Okay. Pip remembers he was only about 7 when he first ran into Provis in the churchyard. And then there's the big one. Provis once told him that seeing Pip as a little boy reminded him of his own daughter, who he'd lost just a few years before that. The timeline, the ages, it all just fits perfectly. And that's when it hits him. Just this massive, mind-blowing realization. Provis, the convict, his secret benefactor, is the father of Estella, the woman he's been in love with his whole life, the adopted daughter of Miss Havisham. It's an absolute bombshell.
So with this completely world-shattering theory buzzing in his head, what does Pip do? He knows there's only one person on Earth who can tell him if he's right. He goes straight to the source, the man who was right in the middle of it all 2 decades ago, the lawyer, Mr. Jaggers.
And this confrontation is just fantastic. Pip starts laying out his case, piece by piece. Jaggers, he's cool as a cucumber, right? He's not giving an inch until Pip plays his trump card. He drops the father's name, Provis, and the book says, even Mr. Jaggers started. That's it. That's the tiny crack in his stone-cold facade. See, he might have been ready to talk about the mother, but the fact that Pip knows the father is alive, that completely blindsided him. But Jaggers is too smart to just come out and say, you're right. Instead, he confirms the whole thing by turning it back on Pip. He asks this really powerful, chilling question. He basically says, okay, smart guy, let's say you're right. Who benefits if you tell everyone? It won't help the father, it won't help the mother. All it's going to do is ruin the daughter's life, drag her through the mud after she's been safe for 20 years. So he's asking Pip, is it really worth it? And that's the question that just hangs in the air, right? What is the true cost of revealing a truth that could destroy someone?